What's up, everybody? It's the Ginge Pedro Show, episode 13. Thanks for coming by. I'm, of course, your boy, Ginge Gingerton. Alongside me, Mr. Pedro Ang.
How you doing, guys? Lucky 13, man.
All right.
We're going places.
I like it. We're in October. It's Lucky 13. Hopefully nobody gets killed by an axe murderer.
Yeah. It's Sunday.
Let's say hello to the chat real quick. We got
Greg.
Mr. Greg. Yep. Gun Demon Greg. Ichthus.
That book looks awesome, dude. John Demon. Like, we need to get those guys in here.
Yes, actually, I was talking with Greg this morning about that.
Yeah.
We're looking probably next month.
Replicate.
What up, buddy? All right, guys. So let's go ahead and hop into it today. We have with us
Total Excellence, Ichthus. How you doing, buddy?
Yes, of course, Ichthus. Yep. We got with us today Dennis AKA Dionysios. I probably pronounced that wrong. He's gonna, I'm sure, correct us. Go ahead and hop in here, buddy.
No, that was good, man. Thank you. Thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, Dionysios is the English way to say it, so you said it perfectly. The Greek way is Dionysios, but
Dionysios.
Yeah. So yeah, it was perfect, man. It was awesome.
All right.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Well, thanks for joining us. Yep. I was taking a look at your book backstage. I had mentioned it right away, dude. Just going through it. One of the things that, and I actually didn't know that you were I guess a longtime artist and a former Kubert school guy, but right away I was like, okay, this isn't, somebody's first book here. The full thing, start to finish, definitely looks like you know what you're doing. So I mean, I'm excited to get into all the behind the scenes stuff. But
thank you.
Yeah, buddy. How you doing?
I can't complain, man. Happy Sunday to you guys, man. Doing well.
Oh,
so,
thank you.
Yeah, beautiful weather, good company. So can't complain, man.
Right on.
Awesome. Weather's not fine here. Like I'm in Central America, so.
What's it like over there for you right now?
Okay, October, November, and December are like when rain like picks up, so you get a lot of like flooding and stuff. And then in January, then it's our summer, which is basically no rain. So we're on the last legs of the big monsoon. We don't get monsoons really, but it kind of feels like that, like big out. Yeah.
Well, I hope it goes smoothly for you, man. I hope you make it safely to January. So
yeah.
I know.
Hang in there, Pedro.
Yeah, exactly. We're in hurricane season right now, but luckily it's nothing crazy for us right now. So they've sort of been skipping us.
Let's hope. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Fingers crossed, 100%.
Yep. So, Dennis.
Yes.
Tell us about yourself, buddy. How long you been an artist? I mean, a little bit about your. Let's start before then. Like where'd you grow up? Are you from Florida? I know you live there now.
I'm originally from Jersey. Moved to Florida.
Jersey boy.
Yeah. I used to have a thick accent when I first moved here. They thought I had a speech impediment and sent me to the speech class. So everything was noisy, joy. Still comes out every once in a while, but So I moved from Jersey to Florida when I was around, I think, 9. And then from Florida to Arizona for a couple of months, and then from Arizona to Baltimore, and Baltimore to Jersey, where I went to the Kubert School for a year, back to Baltimore, and then here I am in Florida again. So yeah,
awesome.
A little bouncing around here and there. So been doing artwork since I was a little kid, man. Always drawing, always sketching, always doing something, and this book that I'm doing has been a kernel. Well, more than a kernel. It's been a passion project since I was like 12 years old. It's gone through many different, variations and whatnot, but it's I think it's where it needs to be right now. I think I spent enough time thinking about it and putting all the pieces together, so to speak, and here we are today. Yeah, that's
awesome.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Like, how old were you when you went to the Kubert School?
I was considered the old guy there. I was I want to say 23 or 24, something like that, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's one of the things like that really catches my eye, because I had a similar journey, but through animation.
Okay.
So I studied animation in Canada, but nobody like got what I was trying to do.
Right.
Because like Panama is very conservative, and it's like you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, or you're an architect. You want to study what?
Right.
And one of the schools that I considered was the Kubert School. But the problem I had is when I showed like my mom at 16, like, Mom, this is what I want to do. The advertisement was in a comic. And I think it was an X-Men or something. and it was Colossus like getting his arms bent or something like very violent.
I remember that.
Yeah, and my mom's like, "You want to study what?" Yeah, I want to learn how to do this, man. I want to draw men in tights. Then my dad's like, "Do you like girls?" You know, like it was very like it took a while, and I actually ended up saving up my own money and doing it myself.
That's awesome, man. That's a baller move.
Yeah, and that's why I always ask is like, I know this journey is weird, you know, like this art journey is, you might be lucky enough to have your parents like support you or have like a support group behind you,
right?
But sometimes you don't. So I don't know, how was that experience for you?
Yeah, my I used to get in trouble for drawing. I got an old school Greek dad, dude.
Yeah.
Was living in Greece when the Nazis invaded, so that dude doesn't fuck around, so to speak. Pardon my French. Drawing in school, getting in trouble for that, and he wasn't too supportive of it. And to be honest with you, it's not like I've made money from it, so it's not like he was wrong,
Yeah.
It's something that I've always wanted to do, and it's something that I've always enjoyed. And it's one of those things now where he's like, "Oh man, you should do artwork. People are making good money." I'm like, where was this thought, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
But you can't blame them. Old school mentality.
Yeah, exactly.
Fresh off the boat, I get it. So, but yeah, it's almost a similar journey, but I went to the Kubert School for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go back. It's a little expensive. And it's not it wasn't a bad school, so to speak. I know people that have, finished their journey there and are, working in the industry. It's just one of those things where, just same as you, people just didn't understand what you wanted to do. You know what I mean? Family wise. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah. So after your experience at school, like, how did your art journey started? Like, you went directly into comics, you went into advertising. What kind of stuff? Like,
I went directly to waiting tables is what I did.
Nice.
Nice. Right before that, I was waiting tables. After that, I was waiting tables. Mm-hmm. Actually, shortly after that, I was working for a subsidiary of Merck. It was pretty much like data entry stuff. But that didn't last long. I moved back to Jersey with Pat, actually, PTP.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've done drawings for people and commissions and this and that. But my passion has never really been to draw Spider-Man or any Batman or any of that shit. And nothing wrong with it. It's that stuff that I loved as a kid. But I just want to write my own story, man.
Exactly.
And I just want to do my own thing. I want to be in control of the world that I'm telling. I don't want to be bogged down by somebody else's backstories or somebody else's ideas or limitations. And that's what I've just been working on is this book. And I hadn't really started working hardcore on it until about, let's say 3 years ago now. And hardcore meaning, whenever I had time, when I wasn't working. And that just started picking up and picking up and picking up. And the more I worked on it, the more I get lost in it. And I don't want to do anything other than this book. And I know it sounds dumb, because
it doesn't.
Commissions and this and that, but I just love it, man. Yeah, exactly. We've seen enough of those characters anyway, man. It's just, and nothing against those characters, but it's so bogged down with backstory and reef boots and all this other BS that I just can't get into it, man.
And the thing is, like, it's not even like talking about the politics nowadays,
right?
But the baggage those characters have.
Yes.
And I don't know, it's a responsibility I wouldn't like. For
100%.
example, like, it's not like, well, do you want to do Deadpool or whatever? Like my intro into comics, I have to say, was the first run of Deadpool.
Okay.
I got those comics in Spanish. Deadpool, at that time, it was called Masacre. Horrible name.
What is the translation for that?
Massacre would be massacre, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, massacre. Oh, okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, that was his name. It was like, this has to do with that. And like watching this stuff and whatever, like I love the Joe Kelly run on the first like 24 issues of Deadpool. So if I'm drawing Deadpool, then I have to take that into account. Then taking into account what the guys like, it was like an anime style team that took Deadpool later. Like I don't know. Like to me, the responsibility is too big.
I agree.
And nowadays, you see people that don't really like take that into account, and they're paying the price because nobody's buying those books. You know, so why would you want that problem if you can come up with your own world and see what happens? Like people might love it, people might love it, people might hate it.
Exactly. Yeah, but take that chance on yourself. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And even if I'll tell you the truth. Even if nobody reads this book or does, I'm still finishing it. It's so for me. It's everything that I wanted to see. And things that like when I'm flipping around looking for a movie or a show, I'm looking for this story and I don't find it. So I get lost in writing my own stuff and not I'm not trying to toot my own horn. People could hate it, people could love it, but I love it. You know what I mean? That's,
exactly. The thing with the horns is that they need to be toot.
Yeah, you know what? That's
and
that should be on a shirt.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, your art speaks for itself. It's amazing. Like, I will not get tired of saying that.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah, exactly. Sweet,
so man. let me go ahead and throw the Indiegogo up here. Let's talk a little bit about it. Can you tell us about the story? What kind of journey can we expect to get into here?
Sure. So it's a pretty big story. Everything is mapped out. All the I've got a ton of stuff already written, a ton of stuff already drawn, over 100 pages already drawn.
Oh, awesome.
It's a story about an apocalypse, and it's the first entry into the story. It's a road trip story during an impending apocalypse. So it hasn't happened yet. It's on its way, but it's a journey about a group of people who are trying to figure out what the next step to save humanity from what's going to happen. And I don't think this is giving much away. It's about the world resetting, and it's reset before. So we've had civilizations rise and we've had civilizations fall, and what dictates how the next civilization is regarded when it reforms. Who's to say what the world's supposed to look like when it's done, and restarts rather. So this story it's about multiple dimensions. A book that's been written in called the Tome of Reckoning, which tells of these stories over and over again, and this is our reckoning that's about to happen. And it's got everything in it, and I hate to even say that because it sounds like it's got everything in it, the whole kitchen sink, but it's got a little bit of sci-fi, a lot of horror, adventure, espionage, but I think at its core it's about family, familial love, and how you can move forward through familial fighting, I guess you could say.
Squabbles.
Yes, and it's at its heart, amidst all the impending doom and the apocalyptic stuff, it's about family and how you survive and how you grow and accept each other through difficult times and difficult decisions. So, but if you want to get to the bare bones of it, it's about a werewolf, ancient wizard, a dark government force that's popping its head up for some reason, and an ancient evil that's rearing its head from over 10,000 years ago, and why this is happening. So it's a little bit of a mystery, but I think I guess if you're into adventure stories, if you like horror stuff, if you it does have electrolytes. It's like the toilet. It's what plants crave, man. Of course, you got to get some Bronzo. Bronzo, yeah, the good stuff. But yeah, at its core, it's a road trip story with a family stuck in a car, trying to figure out what the next step is.
Dennis, I think maybe it's me. Is Pedro?
No.
I think something might happen with your mic
quality. Yeah, your mic quality.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'll put the air controller strip down. So so we're good. Sorry about that, guys.
You got quieter and quieter, like you were moving away.
Like you were fading away, like anytime.
That's awesome, man. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
No, you're good. I have a quick question, real quick. Who is this redheaded man?
So
this redheaded man
is a gentleman
always
named...
going for the redheads.
Yes, he's a cool dude. His name is Bo Cobb.
Mm-hmm.
And he works for what is going to be implemented into the government called the Homeland Terror Task Force. And it's essentially a contract that's been put out by the government to have PMCs working within our borders. So essentially they're a strike force for anything that the government deems as terroristic.
So are we talking about dimensional borders now?
No.
Oh,
This is which that is a huge aspect of the story, is that dimensional borders start to get ripped open. And that's when you start seeing the proverbial shit hit the fan. But he works for a government agency that is tasked with trying to find out what our main characters are doing, and nobody knows why they're being directed that way. But he works for, like I said, a government agency called the Homeland Terror Task Force, and that's if you think about it, it's a little unnerving when you think of exactly. Yeah. So when you give power to a private company to enforce government rule, very RoboCop-ish, so to speak,
very OCP.
Yes, 100%, man, 100%.
Awesome.
So how big of a role does he play in the book? I noticed I got to page 19 and I met him, and I don't want to give away too much, but I also came across I believe this gentleman and also this lady.
Yes. Bo's a pretty big part of the story, and there's actually a dynamic with him and another character who's introduced in issue 3 that plays a big part in his own storyline. But he's a huge part of the story, man. Everybody that's introduced up into issue 5 is exactly is a huge part of the story. So at least for the first arc, and the first arc has the first whole story. There's 3 arcs. The first one is probably going to be, I want to say, probably 10 books, so 20 chapters, and it has a beginning and an end. But everybody that's introduced up into issue 5 plays a huge part in the whole first story arc. So he's around for the long haul. So yeah.
Very cool.
And there are some deaths and whatnot, but obviously, that's all hush hush. You won't see that until later on. But
as their shoot, like I really like self-contained stories,
right.
That whole element of characters that can't die, it's more a financial decision, I think.
Oh, 100%.
And
yeah, I agree.
It takes away from storytelling. Like I'd rather be told a great story, and whoever needs to die dies, and then I'm actually more interested in what this writer will come up next.
100%. And and it's like life, man. I mean, I've seen a lot of people die, not personally, not but I've had, a lot of loss in life, and you grow, and it's just like any story, you have conflict, and it adds something to the story, and it's like real life, man. You never know, it's crazy.
So you said this is a project you've been, in various forms working on for quite some time, since you were 12. What were some of the original inspirations, back in the day, and even now? Like, how has it changed since then?
I grew up as a horror nut as a kid. My mom had me watching like crazy horror movies at like way too young, but it was never scary. I loved it, So that's a huge inspiration. Like all the horror movies, a lot of adventure stuff. And I'm a kid. I'm 44 years old. I'm a kid. Or I was a kid rather, who grew up watching all the great 80s action flicks and 80s horror flicks. So it's a combination of all that stuff. When it first started out, it was called Phantom Force. Very comic booky.
Good name though.
Yeah, it was a good name. Such a good name that I think
2 months later, I was looking through one of the preview books, and the great Jack Kirby had a comic. The last thing he did was called Phantom Force, man. So,
awesome.
yeah. So I was like, oh, I was onto something. But I changed it to The Reckoning, and then years later, I changed it to the Tome of Reckoning. So, because there's so many things that are called Reckoning, it's
the things like adding the Tome of Reckoning gives like a past tense, like these things are already happened and then being like recounted by somebody. Exactly. And that air of mystery is just like a little paprika over the whole stew. Like I like that.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, man. I know PTP wasn't too stoked on it, but but I think it makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's exactly what I was trying to get through. So I think you picking up on that is awesome. And I think it's easier to separate something when it has that in front of it. Because if you type in The Reckoning right now online, you're gonna get so much stuff. But there's only one, the Tome of Reckoning. So.
Yeah, you'll notice if we keep talking, you'll notice I'm all about that.
Yeah, 100%. I like that, man.
I do a lot of food metaphors myself. Yes. I like to talk about marinating an idea for a couple hours, throwing it in the oven, and seeing what comes out. Maybe stick it back in and get a hard sear if you need to. You just play with the metaphor.
So you guys cook
no longer.
Yeah, well, I cook a lot.
For fun.
I do too, man. Oh yeah, no, me too. Yeah, I mean, I love cooking, dude. I cook all the time.
I mean, with a Greek heritage, you should.
100%.
They will strip your passport if you don't.
You're very right, man. I'll tell you what, though, I'll be honest with you. My fiance is the one who makes the Greek food now. I make everything else. Yeah. She kills it, dude. It's insane. She's not Greek. Awesome. And it's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm
dude, so that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe here we don't have that thing, but to me, like, Greeks and Italians are the only people I have seen fighting over quality of olive oil.
Oh yeah, I think that's definitely. I leave that to the older generation, but yeah, they do, man. I've seen it. Yeah, 100%.
Massive fights. Like, this is not extra virgin.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So that's a great segue. The team. Let's talk about the team. You are mostly the team, but also your fiance. So she's your colorist. How did you guys meet?
We met. So we've been together for 3 years now. We met. I want to say about 15 years ago. She used to work at Publix. I would see her when I would go shopping. And then she would come into the restaurant that I worked at. And then she worked at the restaurant that I worked at. And she always did like little drawings and stuff. I don't think she knew I did some artwork. We never really spoke too much about it. She did drawings. She did some cool stuff. And then long story short, I fired her when I was a manager. So we didn't see each other, and we never, we weren't dating. We were just, one of those things where it was just, always missing each other type of thing. And she came back into town after moving, probably about four years, I think, after, maybe 2 or 3 years after she got fired from the restaurant, which we still laugh about. And we just hooked back up and started hanging out, and here we are today with a baby and a book and a ring. Awesome. So yeah, it's been a crazy ride, man. Yeah, she's
how old's the baby? I mean, I don't want to dox anything, but
no, you're fine, man. The baby is 10 months old now. So
wow,
yeah, congrats, baby. Yeah, thanks. I started late, dude.
Dude, I'm 47, no babies.
Okay, so dude, yeah. Hey, man, listen, I love my baby. Baby's awesome, but that's pretty awesome too.
Yeah. No, the thing is, like, I was married for 10 years, but actually, like, she can get pregnant, so it's not like for lack of trying, but I don't know, I'm 47, like, no responsibilities.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. And my dad had me at 49, so
yeah,
it's it's never too late.
Hey, Alejandro, this kid is trouble, but I love him.
Oh, he's a trip, man. Yeah, he's I know we were talking about getting on a show. I wanted to make sure I had like some type of thing behind me, but it's been so crazy with work right now. But yeah, I'd love to get on and pop on with him. He's a trip, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Very opinionated. Like that's kind of the voices that are needed right now.
Yeah, 100%.
It goes back to the tooth horning. We as artists have like get rid of this. Like, oh, I want to be in a corner just drawing because I'm mysterious. You don't get money or chicks with that. So we need to voice out what we're doing. Like, people need to know that art comes from people, and we have personalities, and we should be allowed to express them.
Yeah,
You
100%.
know?
And especially in this day and age, there has to be a counter voice to all the madness that's going on.
Yeah,
And I know
exactly.
Ali is definitely a voice for that as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah, I mean, it's the world we live in now, man.
Mhm.
It's not like it was before.
Yeah, and this is my opinion, so I could be wrong, but one of the reasons that art is in the state it is because of that attitude of, oh, I'm an artist and I have to be in a corner with sipping coffee and oh my god, you want to talk to me? No, like that
Right.
whole like air of mystery makes art impersonal. So anybody can come in and say like, okay, how many whatever denomination of race or sexual preference are in your book, and that's what will determine the book.
Right.
Like if you have a big personality, you just say fuck off.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing too.
Part of my Spanish. Yeah.
No, and I'm with you on that. Like my book has listen, you've heard I've moved around. I've lived that's only a snippet of the type of life I've lived, but I've met different people and all this other stuff. And there's a huge diverse cast in my story, but not because of mandates, because I've met people like this, and you read these other stories that have this diverse cast and it's all like paper doll versions of these people. It's so fake. Yeah. It's meeting a quota. It's tiresome. You know what I mean? It's not organic. And I think that's the king.
And sometimes it's insulting.
Oh yeah, I know, 100%.
Netflix show like they did like with the gay spies. Like I felt embarrassed for the producers of that show.
I know which one you're talking about.
It was so shallow. It was just like, dude, it was so token.
And people that they're trying to appease to see that, they're not stupid. Yeah, exactly. They're like, this is and it's and I haven't seen the show, but I'm guessing if it's not funny and it's not good, nobody's gonna give a shit. You have to appeal to a wider audience. I mean, we live in a weird time where people pretend that we haven't had diversity in shows and media. They have short-term peanut memories, dude, because growing up, we had all that stuff. You know what I mean? Shit, Will and Grace was, a number one show for years.
Yeah, dude.
I grew up watching Good Times, What's Happening, Will and Grace, Fresh Prince. There's been stuff. Female characters. We've had, as a horror fan, if you guys know horror. That was the main hero all the time. Was for the most part was a female 90s, character. Yeah. Sure. In 90s, 80s as well, the final girl trope, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Don't get me wrong. Mistakes were made. For example, Lamar in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah,
that was a token gay dude. Like,
100%. Yeah,
mistakes were made.
Oh yeah.
Will and Grace, for example, is a great example of a person who happens to be gay, but the character is awesome.
Yeah, it's not just a caricature. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a character. And that's the thing. I think that's what is missing in a lot of stuff nowadays. It's just, they think a character saying a slogan that's popular is creating a deeper character, but it's like a cutout. It's not real. It's transparent. And I think that's what's wrong with like modern media stuff. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. But enough of that. Let's go back to Tome of Reckoning, because that's the moment, dude. Like, we're highlighting this book, guys. This art looks awesome. I mean, and you can tell the expertise because how you handle your inks. It's just simplified in a way that conveys lighting, and that to me, it's one of the like pointers that lets me know like this guy knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, a lot of people get really hatchy with or like flashy with the
right.
inking. But you can notice like, okay, he did it because it's cool, but it's not really obeying the light source, or maybe like he saw it somewhere and said, I'm not trying to trash anybody. That's why I'm not gonna say any names. But I've seen that
just talking shit again.
Yeah, I've seen that mistake happens over and over again on mainstream books and on indie books. But here, dude, it's just like chef's kiss, dude. Congrats.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it because I was actually looking for an inker for a while. I never inked. I wasn't my thing. I could draw with a ballpoint pen, which is really weird. But inking my own stuff was always foreign to me. And a buddy of mine was like, "Dude, just ink your own book." And and I've been hopefully getting better. I mean, I have a shit ton of pages I'd love to show you guys. I know some of it will be spoilerish, but yeah, and I know there's a bunch of stuff on my Instagram too, like full pages and stuff that you can see.
Okay, can we go? When we check that out?
Yeah, sure.
And if you don't mind, we'd love to.
By all means. Do you want me to type the link in?
Yeah,
In the private chat, please.
In the private chat, I'll
oh, you know what, dude? I'm so sorry. I got such a jack rigged thing now. My keyboard's unplugged because the camera's in. I can tell you what it is if you want. I'm sorry, dude.
That's all right. No problems.
It's
problem.
DJA. DJA _ DIONYSIOS. I know it's a big one.
Yeah.
It's like what we were talking about earlier, Pedro.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, guys.
There you go. Give it to me one more time.
Oh, it's DJA
DJA
_ DIO NYSIOS.
Oh, dude, this Greg is saying like Netflix is the new sci-fi. That's not fair because sci-fi's Aladdin was amazing with John Leguizamo. You remember that piece of crap? No, dude, sci-fi just went nuts. I mean, and sci-fi, like, this is relevant. Sci-fi did a mini-series of Dune, like the new movie that's out.
Mm-hmm.
They did like a mini-series of Dune in 2001. And dude, it sucks. It's horrible. But the DP
I actually like that one.
Yeah. The things like the DP for that series was Vittorio Storato, and that guy is like a legend of like guys who like movies. Like he's from the spaghetti western era, and this guy will have like a little console, like a DJ console, like moving lights as actors are acting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, that guy's a genius. And when you see the series with all its limitations, you see like monologues, and as the character speaking, like you see like light hitting from this side of the face and this one dimming, and then like, dude, it's just like I haven't seen that in movies. Like,
what other stuff is he working on right now?
Oh, I think he's dead. Like he was already old in 2001.
Oh wow!
But I don't want to kill him. Like I don't know if he's dead. But,
awesome.
He's working on a lot of westerns, like from Italy, like from the spaghetti western era. Like that's his jam.
So I've probably seen some of his. I mean, I've watched a ton of spaghetti westerns, so I'm sure I've seen some of his stuff, man.
No,
that's awesome.
Vittorio Storato, and you have your mind blown. Like that guy is a beast.
I want to look him up today.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit of these pages here.
Sure.
Oh, we're doing the whole picture pages. Sorry.
So, who is this character on the cover and with the armor?
So that guy's name is his name is Hellbound. I mean, that's not his name, but that's his moniker is Hellbound. His name is Yonkar, and it sounds like some caveman shit because it sort of is.
Yonkar.
Yeah. So, and he has, thank you. He has a modern name, which I'll save for you'll see it actually in the book. But he's a survivor from the antediluvian times. So yeah, this book also touches on religion and stuff as well.
Nice.
I was always a big fan of world religions and how they all sort of have the same stories for the most part. A lot of their world-ending stories, like the flood, is not just strictly a Bible story. I mean, it's it's over here from ancient
awesome
ancient texts and religious texts as well from all over the world. So yeah, it's he's a wizard, so to speak. Harry.
Harry, you're a wizard, Harry.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, dude, antediluvian. Like I haven't heard that been spoken out loud ever since like the last time I played vampires.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
That's great. Yeah, so cool.
What era would that be in terms of time period?
Oh, before the flood.
Yes, before the flood. So it's like 12,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, I can't click. I don't have an Instagram. I can't click on these pages, sadly.
Oh Jesus.
I know.
Dude, I don't know. Sort of like I went Bill Cosby and like we're going picture page.
Oh, I caught that picture page. Lots of fun with picture page.
Pedro just
Oh, man.
pulls his shirt down. He's got a Cosby sweater on underneath.
Yeah, actually, a friend of mine, he owns like a rehearsal space, and before the whole Cosby like scandal, he has like this big mural of Bill Cosby surrounded by flowers. Dude, we still give him a hard time on that one. Like,
Yeah, that's just a funny one to have.
so you want to
It's
spike the
no.
Jello pudding? Yeah, it's like, yeah, dude.
You should repaint the flowers as like Spanish fly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Dude, so you're doing a lot of like to horror, I see like The Exorcist.
I was
Jason.
Lost
I was
Boys.
gonna do drawings every night.
Mhm.
And then my job, dude, I've been working like 12-hour days. So
Mm.
I've just been beat by the time I come home. I'm like, okay, this is it. I should probably just focus on the book. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and they don't take long, which is the funny thing. Like those drawings probably took, I want to say like a half an hour, let's say an hour total with the drawing and the inking. Each one of them
Awesome.
did. And even that was too much after work. So
Yeah,
I had to
dude,
cancel some. Oh, go ahead.
No, the thing's like I like the fact that you post art and you get like 48 likes, but if you post ass cheeks, we're talking thousands of likes.
100%, man.
Yeah, that's one of the things I don't like about Instagram. It's just like, dude, whatever you do, you're gonna be beat by ass cheeks.
Oh, 100%. I know. The Living Dead, the Night of the Living, or Return of the Living Dead, rather,
Yeah.
drawing on
Mhm.
Instagram was probably one of my most liked pictures because there's titties. But
Yeah, exactly.
that's cool. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, nice set of tits, my friend.
You can't compete with body parts, and
100%.
I don't know. It's a thing. Like I was trying to explain that to some of my students. Like this will do something to your psyche. Because then you're gonna be chasing that horse, and it becomes like heroin.
Oh
Like,
yeah, it's an addiction. It's 100%, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
It doesn't translate to money. That's
No, it translates to less money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
So let me ask you real quick, since
Sure.
we're in October and you're obviously a horror guy, what have you been watching lately? You got any good horror recommendations?
So I watch. I mean, dude, everything. I know I watch it all year round, but I do, mass blocks now. I love John Carpenter. I think The Fog is a very underrated movie of his.
Yes.
I also love In the Mouth of Madness, a really great private detective story set in a H.P. Lovecraft world. It's even the title itself, In the Mouth of Madness, is like a riff on In the Mountains of Madness.
Yes.
Or At the Mountains of Madness.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've been watching so much stuff, man. What did I watch recently? I watched the original Omen. I watched what the hell is that movie called? It's a newer one. It's an A24 movie. Hereditary, which I love. Not everybody loves it, but I love that flick. One. Yeah, man. It's a slow burn. I mean, I think that movie's horrific in two aspects. Obviously the supernatural aspect, but even the going back to my story, the familial aspect of saying shit to a family member that you can't take back, that there's a dinner scene where it's like, oh my God, I think that's even more horrific than the end of the movie where the mother says some stuff to her kid that, you should never say to your kid.
Yeah.
So that's another movie I watched. What else? What do you guys watch? What do you,
have you seen the Babadook?
Which one is? Oh yeah, I like the Babadook was a good one too, man. Where it was less about horror and more about dealing with a child and
the relationship of mother-son. That to me really got to me. I was like, ugh.
100%, and that's another another flick that that's why I know some people say there's no good horror movie. There's still good horror movies. It's just like like anything. I know we have a lot of classics from the 80s, but there's definitely good ones within the past 20 years. So.
You know what I really miss? Like a good werewolf movie.
Oh, stop. Don't even start with me. I know.
Yeah.
Dude, 100%. That's why I'm doing my werewolf in the story. Like the whole story is not a bunch of werewolves, and it's my take on and I say my take. I think it's just my take of what I grew up with. We werewolf movies went from, the horror aspect of a single person not being able to control, their anger to very superhero-y type stuff, and my story doesn't really deal with werewolves in a superhero type way, if you know what I mean. Like what were those movies with the vampires and Kate Beckinsale? What was that stuff called? Underworld. Yeah, so like, and I those are fun, but it's a lot of leather. It's a lot. It's a lot of leather, bro.
She looks good though. I mean,
Yeah,
that
no,
Kate
yeah,
Beckinsale's
100%.
not bad.
Oh, dude, not at all.
Yeah, the thing
Yeah.
is, Underworld to me, it's a session of Vampire the Masquerade. That's
Yes.
how that movie felt to me, and I think that the guy who wrote it, like the big black guy with the deep voice,
Dude, that guy's awesome, man.
Yeah, that guy's awesome, but
Graveau, I think
I forget his name.
Kevin
But
Graveau, I think. Yeah.
Graveau, yeah, like he actually he said in an interview, like, yeah, we were playing Vampire the Masquerade, and then like I wrote the script. So it's awesome as an adventure
Yes.
movie, but as a horror flick, like to me, the last movie, it's a very old movie from the 80s called Silver Bullet.
Oh, dude, love Silver Bullet, man. I have the book.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Silver Bullet's amazing, dude. Yeah.
That to me is like the last horror, like werewolf movie that got to me. Because then after a couple of years later, then I saw like Dog Soldiers, which was scary, but in a different kind of way. Because it's like, okay, these are soldiers that get bitten by werewolves, but when they turn, they don't forget their soldier training.
Right.
So it's like, dude, okay, you're fighting against a beast that's trained. That to me was like scary from that angle, but it's not really a werewolf story. You know what I mean?
100%. I think it's a great movie, and I love that movie. I think it's aliens with werewolves.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Which is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? That's like, you know, you hear that, you're like, give me a ticket. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I like that whole aspect. And in my story, you know, Murphy Lockjaw is the werewolf guy.
Nice.
There's aspects to that story that you'll see where, you know, you get to know him, so it's not really scary, but then you see why he's scary later on. You'll see like parts of the story, issues of the story that are treated like a werewolf movie, you know, where it's horrific. It's not action adventure. It's like, you know, what the F is going on, you know? Oh, you got in. Nice.
I just didn't see the button there.
Oh,
blind as a bat.
That's awesome, dude. Me too.
Yeah, that happens when you're having a great conversation, so don't feel bad.
Yes.
Oh man, nice. But yeah, dude, Silver Bullet is amazing. I don't know if you've ever seen the book, but the book is dude.
I'm an avid reader. And that kind of destroys movies for me.
Yes. Yep.
Because I've read a lot of what's being done in sci-fi right now are things that I've read like years ago.
Exactly.
For example, everybody's excited about this Dune movie. Like I've given up on expecting a good Dune movie, and I haven't seen it yet. Like I'm gonna see it next week, but I know I'm not gonna be happy.
Yep.
That's an impossible tale to tell. Like Amazon is now doing like the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Those are 14 books that basically walked with me throughout my whole college years.
And it's so different, man, because you can see, you know, it's you know, I don't mind that they make this stuff, but nothing's ever going to top what you read, you know, the original stuff you read, you know, whether it be your imagination or just the fact that you had, you know, it's straight from the creator's mouth, you know. There's nothing left out. Anything that's put in there is because he wanted it in there or she wanted it in there. And when you see a movie, you know, it's dictated by, you know, committee for the most part, it seems like nowadays. And, you know, they put in stuff or leave out stuff that doesn't give you the same feeling that you had when you read or, you know, read the original books.
Yeah. I totally get you, Greg. Also, like the whole Wheel of Time fiasco. Like I'm just trying to.
I've never read Wheel of Time, but from what I understand, Amazon's also got a hold of Lord of the Rings.
And they're making it woke, and you have like African American elves, which I don't know, dude. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I never felt like I looked like an orc.
That whole weird thing that they put out. You know,
dude. It's
the worst part about this time that we live in is that it can take one person with a stupid fucking idea.
Yeah.
Post it on Twitter. It has like 100 likes, and all of a sudden news articles pick up on it as if it's how everybody feels. And I think that's what's dictating the weird state of the world we're in right now, man. It's so crazy.
And the whole thing about being left out, I place always this example. Like in the 90s, the predominant comedy from like comedians were black comedians. You know what I mean? You had like Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, you know, all those guys. Do white people felt left out because they were listening to black comedy?
I wouldn't assume so, you know.
Exactly. They didn't. So why, if I'm reading a book written by a guy from England who grew up surrounded by white people, and is doing basically what he wanted to do is the version of the Bible of his legends. That's
Right.
what Lord of the Rings is. And there are no black people in the book. Should I feel insulted or just enjoy the book for what it is?
You know, I think it also comes down to what you had said earlier, which is, you know, the people that are complaining should just be creating their own shit, dude. Like make your own story, you know, set it with how you want and see if you can get people to be as interested in it as you are, you know, and if not, then, you know, that shit happens, but somebody else will.
Yeah, exactly. Then
You
you
know?
make it. I want to see Legends of the Black Knight, but be like a real Black Knight.
Right.
And dude, take it there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence's Black Knight is one of my favorite movies, though. That is a great movie.
Yeah,
awesome,
that was weird. I didn't like the
that
Black
dance
Knight.
scene. Like,
yeah,
I love that.
So funny.
I don't know. Like to me, Martin Lawrence, it's the You So Crazy special. You know, his stand up. Like when he started doing movies, he felt for the Hollywood, you know, like engine thing. Let's dress you up as a woman. Can you be more black in this scene? You know, like you know when you're watching movies like that didn't happen to Eddie Murphy in 48 Hours, for example.
Right.
Or like the first Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley, it's a full character. He's not like over racially doing stuff.
Right.
I don't know, like with Martin, I felt that in his movies, and it made me a bit sad because you see the Martin or the Martin on stand up, and it's not the same guy.
Right.
He's on his movies, you know, so it's something like, I don't know.
What was that old movie by it's a great movie, dude, and it's very indicative of how Hollywood was at that time. It's by the Wayans brothers and by the guy who played Meteor Man. What the hell is his name?
Oh,
but it's about how Hollywood treated black actors back in the day, and it's spot on. You know what I mean? Where
it's like Mantan.
Who is it?
Mantan, I think it was called, or something like that. That there was like a guy who played like he was like a tap dancer, and then they turned him into a minstrel like show.
No. So this one's a comedy, and it's hilarious. It's what the hell is it called?
Oh man, I'm getting homework now.
Man, I know it's a great movie though, man. It starts off with like some guys, some black dudes sitting in a casting office, you know, talking to each other normally, and then the part that they're going for is like so, you know, racial stereotype,
like gangster.
Yeah, dude, it's a great movie. It's a great satire, and I can't think what the hell it's called, man. But when I figure it out, I'll shoot you a message today on Twitter. But yeah, it's funny as shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up now. Dude, like I love that kind of movies. Like Damon Wayans did a movie where he was the producer,
right?
And I think it's an HBO like straight to video movie, but it's about this tap dancer.
Okay.
And then like the whole production of the show turned into a caricature of itself. And they started like painting the tap dancer in blackface. So it's a black guy painted in blackface.
Oh wow, okay.
Tap dance. It was horrible, but it's just like you'll see. They wouldn't show the show. They would show the faces of the people reacting to the show.
Okay, is it a comedy or is it?
It's a comedy
it's not
drama. It's a comedy drama thing. Okay, but dude, like I love that. I mean, it was very insightful, and we're talking like 1997, 1998.
Oh wow,
that movie was made. And that's the thing, like you can't make movies like that like this today. And
people get too offended.
Exactly, and that to me, it's a good exploration of the psyche of how people see race, how people see relationships, how people see their history. Because as I said, like I don't share your history. Like I was born in Latin America. We have racism down here, but it's from a whole different angle.
Right.
Because our relationships are bred from the Spanish Empire.
Okay.
So it was more centralized. Like we don't have like colonies. Like it was only one colony from Mexico all the way down to Chile. And all under the Spanish crown, and laws will not be made. So it wasn't being white. It was being Spanish from Iberia, from the Iberian Peninsula.
Right.
Those were the guys who were like good, and everybody was trying to be that. So I don't know, like the relationship is like that. So you have like castes, like you'll separate people from black and aboriginal, and then you get like mestizo, which is Indian and white. You get mulatto, which is black and Spanish. Then you get castizo, which is mulatto or or a mestizo that mixed with a Spanish. So that would be better. And then you get Spanish. Oh no, you get American white, and then you get Spanish. And the whole thing is like you can access different places in government that depending on where you came from. So we still have some of that, like in our society right now, and that's what racism is down here. So it's not the same thing, like it's a different stuff, but it's there. But should you let that hold you back? Like, okay, this is my history and this is my place. Like, I don't think so, man. Like, I mean, to me, that's very stupid to be, revolving around that. Because right now, the law is on your side, no matter your race. So just work hard and go for what you want and stop belly aching.
Well, it's just like anything, even beyond race, just being held back. If you let yourself get held back, then that's on you. And I know it's hard for some people to get beyond that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But the people that have made greatness out of themselves are the ones who broke through and didn't let anybody hold them back. Exactly. Any naysayers, any bullshit, and that's the people who we looked up to, the comedians we talked about, the actors, the artists, this and that. They had shit that they went through and they persevered. You can't let people hold you back, man. And it doesn't, it takes somebody with a strong will and a strong, mentality to get that. Yeah, and a set of balls.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether they're dangling in a sack or up inside, the ovaries. But those are balls nonetheless. And if you can get beyond that shit and not keep on blaming, I think it boils down to for me is like somebody blaming their parents for everything. You got to get beyond that shit at some point in time. You can't just be blaming them for all your misgivings and this and that. You have to be, like you said, ballsy and work through it. You just can't. But nowadays, you can get fame and all this other shit by saying this happened to me, I'm held down, this and that. So it's a weird, balancing act. It's like, what do you want to be known for? Do you want to be known for somebody that made something of themselves through adversity, or somebody that made themselves famous because of claiming being held back?
Dude. The thing like being held down is very comfortable.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
And people don't want to acknowledge that, because when you're on the ground and you have a hand on your back, you're still lying down. It can get comfortable. You can turn on the TV, maybe have a little gin, man. Like I don't know. Yeah. So, dude, I don't know. Like I don't want to turn this into a whole like political thing, but
I don't even think it's political. You know what I mean? I think it's just it's human nature. Less than I think everybody thinks everything is politicized nowadays, but it's more about get rid of the politics shit. It's still human nature. If we didn't even have politics, people would still be bitching about that stuff.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
So let me ask you real quick, Dennis. I noticed a couple of those pages on your Instagram were some of the earlier pages in the Gumroad document. Would you mind if I shared like a couple of those?
You can go through up to, look, the book itself is going to be 72 pages. You can go up to, page 10, 11 if you wanted. That's fine with me. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think
we won't do too much.
Yeah. I think 10 it's my stories. It's not a slow burn, but it's a little bit of a slow burn. So I don't think you're really giving much away if you get up to, 10 or 11 pages,
Yeah. That way we can like check the awesome mark. Like guys, this is going to be a treat. This is going to be a treat, guys.
Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see some of the later stuff, man, because it's getting pretty crazy. I don't know if you can see any of this stuff, but
let's get you full screen. Yeah.
Get in. There you go.
I got a shit ton of pages. What else I got in here for you guys?
Look at them. Look at them blacks.
And then let's see. Here's some. So there's a lot of crazy shit going on here. There's some, I don't know if we're going to get taken off of YouTube, but there's some penis in here. I don't know if that's illegal to say, but
some penis.
Some penis. What else we got? Yeah, so it's, there's a shit ton of, there's a lot of characters. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's, there's some.
It must be a really unique feeling to hold basically the manuscript version of your comic book.
Bro, look at that.
So there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on in this story, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, man. It gets it gets weird, which is one of the things I love about some of the old '80s horror stuff that we used to watch and
Very
action
nice, dude.
movies and whatnot. So
Ooh,
Dude,
the
Yeah.
arm, man.
I need to comment on your character design, man.
Yep.
It's simple and it communicates perfectly. Like your silhouettes are where they're supposed to be. Dude, very, very professional work, man.
Thanks,
Congrats.
man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's just reading books and just practicing and
Yeah.
just I think being into I look at my artwork and I don't see that, so it's really nice to hear, man. I'm always hard on myself about my stuff.
I mean,
I'm
you
like,
should. That's the only way to grow. They like you suck. Good night.
Yes.
That's the
The
only
book
way you
looks great, dude.
Yeah.
It really,
Thanks, man.
honestly, looks great.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that a
dude.
lot, guys.
Mhm. So, is this your first? Stab at publishing a comic book?
It is. Well, I tried to do a Indiegogo last year around this time when we were having our baby,
Mhm.
and it probably wasn't the smartest time to do it.
Right.
Which
Right.
seeing now, but yeah. So this is essentially the first stab at really trying to put this out.
Okay.
You know.
And right now you are on the mailing list part, right? You're still
Yes,
making up the mailing list.
exactly. I've got I think 44 signups so far.
Awesome.
Okay.
So which I'm
let me
super
fix that
appreciative.
right now. Yeah, let me fix that right now.
Awesome, man. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, this was the page I was talking about earlier. The car page. Just that the light coming off the tails here on those ravens, dude. I love
Right?
that glow.
That's so cool, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, when I saw her do that, I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's awesome. And I like how she sort of colors like, in her own way. You know what I mean? It's got its own feel to it, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean, it
very
looks
very
great,
dynamic
dude.
composition, man.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't want to give too much away there. But
No,
yeah.
you can go further. It's fine with me. I mean, there's so much stuff that happens later on that it's like,
Mhm.
this is just the tip of the
So-
iceberg.
So maybe you had mentioned it, but how far along in this first book are you in terms of the artwork?
It's done. So the first
Awesome.
4 issues are penciled, inked, written.
Very nice.
The first 2 chapters, so let me rephrase that because I'm putting each book out with 2 chapters in each book,
Mhm.
just so you get
Okay.
some substance, and it has like a beginning and an end feel to each little story arc that's going
Mhm.
on. So the first book is 72 pages. 36 of them are already colored.
Awesome.
72 pages are already lettered. So the only reason we're doing the Indiegogo is to help fund some of the flats and the printing cost for
Okay.
the book. So, and I wouldn't imagine the second issue taking that long. Not the second chapter rather taking that long to finish up. So
Yeah, that's one of the things like creators have been discussing about. Like, should you have the book close to finishing before starting up the campaign?
Mhm.
And I think that's I don't know, clever, especially for people who are coming up. Like maybe they're not known quantities like Ethan Van Sciver or like Shane Davis or Dan Frege. I mean, those names like convey gravitas.
Yes.
But us guys coming up, we better have the book. Like the book is going to speak for us. So maybe have your book almost close to ready. So maybe after the 2-month campaign, you'll be fulfilling, like you only have printing to take care of. So I don't know. I think that's intelligent because that's going to give the indie problem right now. Like people are like, oh, I paid for a book like a year or something ago, and I'm still waiting for it. Like we should get rid of that.
And I think in agreement with what you're saying, I think it also feels better as the person who's putting the book out to know that you've got the chunk of it done. Because I mean, that would be so stressful. Then it's almost like having a deadline, being forced upon you. Where I think if you have most of it done, then it should be less stress and you can focus more on the campaign. Getting shit out and doing stuff. I'm with you. Yeah.
So do you have you put any thought into whether you'd be fulfilling while the campaign would be running? So like maybe the first 2 months, like the first 60 days, are you going in demand? Have you thought about any of that stuff?
I have. I'm thinking about going in demand. I most likely will. I'm looking to do probably the 30-30 just so I can have time for the flatter to flat it and for Jewel to color it, you know. And as soon as that's done, you know, and like I said, it's only 36 pages that need to get colored on this one. The lettering is fully done. The artwork's done. So I think 2 months is probably ample time, especially if we got a really good flatter coming on as well, who is friends with our letterer Devison. So
very nice.
Yeah, I would assume it'd probably be maybe like maybe 3 months until it's you know fully done, just because she's got the baby and whatnot. But I think when I'm done with this one, I want to have the next 2 chapters, one book, fully colored, you know, since the artwork's done, before I even start the campaign, so I could just ship it the hell out there, you know.
Yes. I want to give a shout out to Hex Islands. How you doing, buddy? Nephilim Squadron, dude. Guys, pay attention to that book. Close parentheses. Let's keep at it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Hex Island, good people. Thanks for coming by, buddy. Greg, he's heading out. We'll say he's going to catch him some Z's. So
nice. Get some sleep.
Yep. So the rest of your team, let's talk about these guys.
Yeah, sure.
There's a couple other names here. Your letterer. Where'd you meet Devison?
I met him. I can't remember where I met him. I met him online. I think it was maybe on what the hell was that? Digital Webbing. I think possibly on Digital Webbing a while ago, which is like a comic book artist website, like bulletin board type thing. He's just a super cool dude, man. He's helped me out so much. I love, you know, the art that he adds to the book with the lettering, because you know it's not just slapping stuff on. You know what I mean? He does so much cool stuff with placement, and he's just been so helpful with everything that he's considered, you know, one of the creators of the book. I said, you know, I mean, I created the story, but he's one of the creative teams on the art thing. I want his name on the front cover. Just a super cool dude. And like I said, you guys should check out his I think he has an Instagram, but Devison Manes, DM Mears, I think it's on. He's friends with me on here, but yeah, his stuff is awesome, man. He's got his own books that he's putting out. He's lettering a bunch of stuff too, and just a super cool dude.
The graphic design is his. Like, can you go back one page to the opening page?
Yeah.
Another one. That graphic design is his.
Yep, that's his. Yeah, he did all that stuff.
Looks great.
Right?
Yeah, great, man. I like it.
Yeah, he does such cool stuff, man. He's a talent. I'm lucky to have him on board.
Yeah, because he grabbed the composition you have behind and just work on top of it, so you can clearly see everything and all the info is there. Like, great job.
Awesome, man. I'll let him know too. He'll be stoked to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. So what about your editor here? Is this what about Mr. Dave?
Dave just edited this book. He's not going to be editing the other ones. Super cool dude, but he's busy doing his own stuff. So he was just a buddy of mine who's a huge comic fan. You know, has been reading for years. Was one of those dudes who was spending probably $300, you know, every new comic book day. So and he's somebody who's got great ideas and would be a good writer, but I just don't think he has it, you know, in him to really do it. Just because he's busy with this other stuff, he's got a lot of shit going on. So great dude. Yeah, exactly. So so he edited the first book, but I think it's pretty much just going to be on me editing the next rest of these books that come out.
He has a great nom de plume too. Dave Policastro.
Oh yeah,
sounds like whoa, it's a vampire.
I
like it.
That's awesome.
Lord Policastri.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, awesome. Very cool. Yeah, man. So anything else about the book? You got anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, when are you planning the launch of the campaign?
So you know, PTP was saying I should probably wait till I get, you know, like 500 signups. At this route, I think that might be, you know, in 2 years, because it's going sort of slow. But I don't know.
Make the rounds on shows, man. This only needs more eyes on it.
Yeah.
Like, I've already signed up, so guys, like, if you haven't signed up to the Tome of Reckoning, please do. Just keep doing this. Doing the rounds on shows. Just getting the art speaking for itself. So it's just a matter of being a little bit more active now that the baby's older. Maybe dedicate some more time to, you know.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, hopefully, you know, I mean, realistically, I would say maybe January I'll launch. You know, so I think that's not too far away.
There's another point. Like, how long has your mailing list been open on Indiegogo?
Maybe a month, maybe a little.
Okay, because at 6 months it will cancel itself.
I found out the hard way with the last one, man. I was so bummed.
just save up your mailing list somewhere else.
Okay.
So if that's the situation, like you won't be left with your pants down. You know.
Dude, thanks.
Right.
Yeah, that happened last time, and to be honest with you, it slipped my memory this time. So thank you for reminding me, man. That would have sucked.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, did it again. Damn it.
That's even worse.
Yeah, when it's on me, I know it's like,
yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking by January you should have a good amount of signups, bro.
Yeah,
the book definitely looks great. Like this was a. Sorry, I was gonna say this was another page where the artwork itself, I'm just going over it. I was like, wow, this guy knows what he's doing. I mean, it just looks great. The faces look great.
Yeah, and also like how you place your composition as how the perspective is guiding the eye. Like, dude, this is professional stuff.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I try to put that in there. Excuse me, when I'm doing it, and you never know if it pays off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're looking at it until somebody says something. So I appreciate that.
You're speaking to a dork here. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah. Hey, listen, we all are. That's why we love this. That's why we love this game, right? You know?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Dennis, if there's anything else you'd like to pitch,
I think if you guys like, if anybody out there is listening, you guys like, the supernatural stuff, vampires, werewolves, magic, and you love, stories of adventure and horror and a little bit of humor thrown in, I think signing up is probably in your best interest and in mine. So you can check out the book and see for yourself. You can also get the first 36 pages, the first chapter on Gumroad digitally for $1, Awesome. So, go check that out if you'd like. And then hopefully when the campaign launches, you guys will sign up and get a cool 72-page book full of thrills and chills, man. So I appreciate you guys having me on, dude.
Absolutely,
big time, man.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks for coming on. We definitely had a lot of fun. The book looks great. I'm signed up. I know Pedro signed up as well.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay,
thanks,
guys.
gentlemen.
Actually, yep. And in the links below on the YouTube description, we actually have the Gumroad. I think I actually have your Twitter there as well, but I know we have your Gumroad. I know I have the Indiegogo sign up. I think I have your Twitter. So for anybody in the replay, check out, go ahead and check this stuff out, sign up for it. Mr. Dennis, we're gonna bump you to the back for a second, buddy. If you don't mind hanging out.
No, not at all. Thanks, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Like it was awesome time with you, man.
100%, man. I'd love to talk to you guys, man. Thank you.
Boom. All righty, Pedro. So, bro.
Yeah.
Good show, man.
Number 13 in the bag.
Let's do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So, what you got going, buddy? Anything you need to pitch?
Not now. Like, dude, like, we're on the last day of Black and White Man versus Machine, and by on the side, like Black and White High Octane. So that we're on the last day of that campaign. And dude, I have
Art taking that in demand? Do you know?
I think so, but I don't like to speak for Art. So from last day, guys, if you want to back up Black and White, go back it now. And I don't know the projects I'm having with you. I can announce that my book, which is doing the launch of the mailing list, Tropical Magics, has been edited by this guy over here. Yep. So we're turning into a team that we're not just faces on the internet. We're gonna deliver books to you, and we have projects coming your way, guys. So that's exciting. I'm very excited for all the things that's happening behind.
Yep. We are hard at work on something. We'll probably. I'm thinking maybe around January. We're maybe looking at something around March for like an actual launch. But keep your eyes peeled around January to start seeing some stuff come out. And we're definitely excited to bring some of this craziness to y'all. But on that note, we are going to go ahead and end the show. Mr. Gingerton. Got my boy Pedro. Check out the Tome of Reckoning and go ahead and sign up for that on Indiegogo. And thanks everybody for watching. Greg, Hex, Ash, and Jackal. Love you guys. Take care.
Peace.
Later.